CDL General Knowledge Exam. Questions and Answers. It takes the body about how many hours to get rid of the alcohol in 4 drinks? 4 hours. It takes the body about 4 hours to get rid of the alcohol in 4 drinks. High beams should be used when it is safe and legal to do so. What is the most important thing to remember about emergency braking? If the wheels are skidding, you cannot control the vehicle. Cargo covers protect people from cargo spilling and may be a safety requirement in some states. Stab braking involves releasing the brakes only after the wheels lock up. You are starting your vehicle from a stop. As you apply power, the drive wheels start to spin. You should take your foot off of the accelerator. You are driving on a 2-lane road. An oncoming driver drifts into your lane and is headed straight for you. What is probably the best action to take? Steer to the right. True or false? You should inspect your tires every 2 hours or every 100 miles when driving in very hot weather. True. True or false? Sleep is the only thing that can overcome fatigue. True. If a straight vehicle, that is, no trailer or articulation, goes into a front wheel skid, it will go straight ahead even if the steering wheel is turned. What is not part of the pre-trip inspection for the engine compartment? Valve clearance. Your truck is in a traffic emergency and may collide with another vehicle if you do not take action. What is a good rule to remember at such a time? You can almost always turn to miss an obstacle more quickly than you can stop. You must park on the side of a level, straight 2-lane road. Where should you place the 3 reflective triangles? 1 at 100 feet from the front, 1 at 10 feet, and 1 at 100 feet from the rear. You're driving in the right lane of a 4-lane undivided highway. You come over a hill and find a car stopped ahead in your lane. You don't have room to stop. The hill blocks your view to the rear. The shoulder is clear. What is most likely your best action to take? Steer to the right. When should you test the stopping action of your service brakes? When the vehicle is moving at about 5 miles per hour. True or false? Rough accelerating can cause mechanical damage to your vehicle. True. The road you are driving on becomes very slippery due to glare ice. What is a good thing to do in such a situation? Stop driving as soon as you can safely do so. When crossing or entering traffic with a heavy vehicle, you should remember that heavy vehicles need larger gaps in traffic than automobiles. What should you do when your vehicle hydroplanes? Release the accelerator. Cargo that can shift should have how many tie downs? 2 tie downs. Cargo that can shift should have at least 2 tie downs. True or false? You are checking your wheels and rims for a pre-trip inspection. Rust around lugs may mean they're loose. True. A good rule to follow when caring for an injured person at an accident scene is to keep the injured person warm. True or false? Windshield washer antifreeze should be used during cold weather driving. True. Controlled braking is used to keep a vehicle in a straight line when braking. True or false? During a long downhill grade, downshifting utilizes engine compression and friction to help slow your vehicle. True. You are driving a 40-foot vehicle at 50 miles per hour. Driving conditions are ideal. Dry pavement, good visibility. What is the least amount of space that you should keep in front of your vehicle to be safe? 5 seconds. A vehicle is loaded with most of the weight on the steering axle. What may result? Hard steering and possible damage to the tires. The most important reason for being alert to hazards is so you will have time to plan your escape if the hazard becomes an emergency. When looking ahead of your vehicle while driving, you should look back and forth, near and far. What is a good thing to do when steering to avoid a crash? Do not turn any more than needed to clear what is in your way. As the blood alcohol concentration, BAC, goes up, what happens? Judgment and self-control are affected. For your safety, when setting out reflective triangles, you should hold the triangles between yourself and oncoming traffic. When should you wear seat belts? Anytime you are in a moving vehicle. You do not have a hazardous materials endorsement on your commercial driver's license. You are asked to deliver hazardous materials in a placard vehicle. You should refuse to haul the load. How do you correct a rear wheel acceleration skid? Stop accelerating. Escape ramps are used to stop runaway vehicles. True or false? In regards to engine overheating, you should never remove the radiator cap on a pressurized system until the system has cooled. True. You are driving a truck with a manual transmission. You have to stop the truck on the shoulder while driving on an uphill grade. Which of these is a good rule to follow when putting it back in motion upgrade? Use the parking brake to hold the vehicle until your clutch engages. True or false? You should never remove the radiator cap on a pressurized system until the system has cooled. True. If you need to leave the road in a traffic emergency, you should avoid braking until your speed has dropped to about 20 miles per hour. True or false? With respect to tank vehicles, special skills are required to haul liquids. True. If you are driving a long distance, you should stop often and take short breaks before you feel really drowsy. While driving, you see a small 1-foot square cardboard box ahead in your lane. You should steer around it without making a sudden or unsafe move. Reaction distance is the distance traveled from the time the brain tells the foot to push the brake pedal to the time the foot actually pushes the pedal. When you check the condition of visible parts during your pre-trip inspection, make sure that the blank are secured against snagging, rubbing, or wearing. Airlines and electrical wiring. So I'll read the statement in its entirety. When you check the condition of vehicle part during your pre-trip inspection, make sure that the airlines and electrical wiring are secured against snagging, rubbing, or wearing. In the event of hydraulic brake failure, you should not shift up. Hydroplaning is more likely if tire pressure is low. When attempting to extinguish a fire, it's a good idea to aim at the base of the fire. To correct a drive wheel braking skid, you should counter steer. True or false? Loose fuel line connections, underinflated tires, and electrical short circuits can cause fires. True. Dry bulk tanks and hanging meat are unstable loads. The distance your vehicle travels from the time your eyes see a hazard until your brain recognizes it is called blank distance. Perception. Perception distance. I'll read the statement in its entirety. The distance your vehicle travels from the time your eyes see a hazard until your brain recognizes it is called perception distance. Is it legal to drive with 1/4 of a vehicle's leaf springs broken or missing? No, it's not legal. To prevent skidding, you should adjust to conditions while driving. I presume that means adjust to road conditions while driving. The BAC, that's blood alcohol concentration, of blank, most people lose consciousness and some even die. Okay, so let me read that again. With a BAC of blank, most people lose consciousness and some even die. That's 0.40. So let me read the statement in its entirety. With a BAC of 0.40, most people lose consciousness and some even die. The vehicle that trucks and buses most often crash into is located in front of them. True or false? Vehicle lights are working and clean. Cargo is secured. Wiper blades are working and in good condition. Are some of the items that should be checked during a pre-trip inspection. True. You should back and turn toward the driver's side so you can watch the rear of the vehicle by looking out the side window. True or false? With respect to overhead clearance, the weight of a vehicle changes its height. True. If you are being tailgated, you should increase your following distance. True or false? An en route inspection should include checking the following items: cargo doors, cargo being secured, tire temperature, and brake temperature. True. How should you use the brake pedal on a steep downhill grade? Release the brake when you are at 5 miles per hour below your safe speed. Then let your speed come back up to your safe speed and repeat braking again. The purpose of a baffle is to control the load surge. True or false? Your brakes can get wet when you drive through heavy rain. This can cause the lack of braking power, trailer jackknifing, or wheel lockup when the brakes are applied. True. True or false? Turning on your headlights during the day when visibility is reduced due to rain or snow would appear to be a proper use for your vehicle's lights and flashers. True. When driving a commercial vehicle with a height over 13 feet, you should, if you aren't sure a clearance is high enough, stop and make sure that it is. True or false? A driver can lose their license for driving while under the influence of alcohol. True. True or false? Flashing your brake lights to warn someone behind you that you're going to stop your vehicle on the road would be a proper use for your vehicle's lights and flashers. True. True or false? There are blind spots that your mirrors cannot show you. True. True or false? The amount of liquid to load into a tank depends on the following: the weight of the liquid, the legal weight limits, and the amount a liquid will expand during transit. True. To avoid a crash, you had to drive onto the right shoulder. You are now driving at 40 miles per hour on the shoulder. How should you move back onto the pavement? If possible, you should come to a complete stop, if possible, before steering back onto the pavement. True or false? Alcohol first affects judgment and self-control, which are essential for safe driving. True. True or false? You should use your mirrors to check traffic gaps before you merge, the condition of tires and cargo, and where the rear of your vehicle is while making turns. True. True or false? The distance that you should look ahead of your vehicle while driving amounts to about 1/4 of a mile at highway speed. True. True or false? Statistics show that drivers who have been drinking have a much greater chance of being in a crash. True. You are testing the stopping action of service brakes on a hydraulic system. Any one of the following items can mean that there is a problem with the service brakes. The brake pedal goes to the floor. The stopping action of the service brake is delayed, or the vehicle pulls to one side when the brake pedal is pressed. True. According to the driver's manual, why should you limit using your horn? It can startle other drivers. True or false? Any one of the following options can be the cause of a vehicle skid. Not enough weight on the front axle, over acceleration of the vehicle, turning the vehicle too sharply. That's true. The new BAC blood alcohol concentration for commercial drivers to be considered intoxicated when driving a commercial vehicle is 0.04. True or false? Flashing your brake lights to warn someone behind you of a hazard that would require slowing your vehicle down would be a proper use of your vehicle's lights and flashers. True. Truck escape ramps are designed to protect vehicles from damage. True or false? Either a 4-inch diamond-shaped hazardous material label on the container or a hazardous materials placard on the vehicle tells you that the cargo contains hazardous materials. True. True or false? An ABC fire extinguisher can be used on the following types of fires: electrical fires, burning trees, or burning cloth. True. Vehicle handling can become unsafe if the weight is not properly balanced. Hard steering can be caused by too much weight on the steering axles. With the controlled braking method, you apply the brakes as hard as you can without locking the wheels. The act of operating a motor vehicle in a selfish, bold, or pushy manner without regard for the rights or safety of others is known as aggressive driving. A 12-ounce glass of 5% beer, a 5-ounce glass of 12% wine, or a 1.5-ounce shot of 80 proof liquor all contains the same amount of alcohol. When driving in very hot weather, you should check your tires every blank or every blank. The correct answer is every 2 hours or every 100 miles. I'll read the question in its entirety now. When driving in very hot weather, you should check your tires every 2 hours or every 100 miles. True or false? State laws dictate legal weight limits on cargo loading. True. True or false? Wind can be a major problem when a truck exits a tunnel. True. You are driving a 40-foot vehicle at 35 miles per hour. The road is dry and visibility is good. What is the least amount of space that you should keep in front of your vehicle to be safe? 4 seconds. Retarders can cause the driver's wheels to skid when they have poor traction. True or false? You are checking your tires for a pre-trip inspection. Tires of mismatched sizes should not be used. True. Cargo inspections should be performed as part of your pre-trip inspection, again, within the first 50 miles of your trip, then again after you have driven 3 hours or 150 miles, and after every break you take during driving. You do not have a hazardous materials endorsement on your commercial driver's license. You can drive a vehicle hauling hazardous materials when the vehicle does not require placards. To help you stay alert while driving, you should take short breaks before you get drowsy. You are driving a new truck with a manual transmission. What gear would you probably have to use to take a long, steep, downhill grade? A lower gear than you would use to climb the hill. When you use the brake pedal on a steep downhill grade, what is that called? Snubbing. To prevent a load from shifting, there should be at least one tie down every blank feet of the cargo. 10 or 10 feet. There should be at least one tie down for every 10 feet of cargo. If your vehicle catches fire while you are driving, you should park in an open area. An en route inspection should include checking for tire and brakes overheating and cargo secured properly. True or false? With respect to clutching and shifting, you should use a tachometer to tell you when to shift. True. What is counter steering? Turning the wheel back in the other direction after steering to avoid a traffic emergency. While driving, ice builds up on your wipers, and they no longer clean the windshield. You should stop safely and fix the problem. True or false? When turning, you should signal early with your turn signals. True. You can see a marking on a vehicle ahead of you. The marking is a red triangle with an orange center. What does that marking mean? Slow-moving vehicle. True or false? With regard to speed management, you should choose a speed that lets you stop within the distance that you can see ahead. True.